Emily Thompson stood by the frost-covered window of her small apartment in northern England, watching the grey winter morning slowly emerge. Her worn hands clutched a nearly empty coffee mug, the warmth a temporary comfort against the cold reality of her life. At 28, Emily had already experienced more challenges than most people twice her age. Just 3 weeks ago, she had been laid off from the local textile factory where she had worked for nearly 7 years. The sudden job loss felt like a punch to her already fragile world, especially with her 6-year-old daughter Rachel depending entirely on her. The small apartment was quiet except for the soft sound of Rachel playing in the corner with her beloved teddy bear. Her daughter, with her bright blue eyes and tangled brown hair, seemed blissfully unaware of their financial struggles. Emily wished she could preserve that innocence forever. Bills were scattered across the kitchen table: electricity, rent, food, school supplies. Each paper represented a growing mountain of worry that threatened to crush her spirit. She had always been proud of her ability to manage everything, to keep their small family afloat, but now everything felt uncertain. Her last paycheck was almost gone. The factory's sudden closure had caught everyone by surprise. Hundreds of workers in their small industrial town suddenly found themselves without work, competing for the few remaining jobs in the area. Manufacturing jobs were disappearing, and Emily knew she needed to adapt. She remembered her mother's words from years ago: "Life doesn't give you what you deserve. Life gives you what you work for." Those words had been her mantra during difficult times, and now they echoed in her mind with renewed intensity. Rachel looked up from her play, sensing her mother's tension. "Mommy, are you okay?" she asked, her innocent voice cutting through Emily's spiraling thoughts. Emily forced a smile. "We're going to be just fine, sweetheart," she said, her voice more confident than she felt. The truth was, Emily had no clear plan. Her education had stopped after high school, and her work experience was limited to factory labor. The job market seemed increasingly complex and competitive. Technology was changing everything, and she felt left behind. But Emily was not the type to surrender. Her life had never been easy. She had become a single mother at 22 when Rachel's father had walked away, leaving her to navigate parenthood alone. She had worked multiple jobs, learned to budget every single penny, and always ensured Rachel had what she needed. Now, standing in her small kitchen with barely enough money to last another month, Emily knew something had to change. She couldn't continue living paycheck to paycheck, always one unexpected expense away from disaster. Her eyes drifted to a community center flyer that had arrived in the mail last week. It advertised free computer skills and digital marketing workshops. The idea of returning to learning after so many years terrified her, but it also sparked a tiny flame of hope. Technology seemed like a different language to her. Computers, internet, digital skills, these were worlds she had never explored. But for Rachel's future, for their survival, Emily knew she needed to learn. As the morning light grew stronger, Emily made a decision. She would attend the workshop. She would learn. She would create a better future for herself and her daughter. Rachel approached her, hugging her leg. "I love you, Mommy," she said simply. Those 4 words were more powerful than any motivation Emily could imagine. They represented everything she was fighting for: a chance, a hope, a future. The winter outside remained cold, but inside their small apartment, a quiet determination was beginning to burn. Emily Thompson was about to embark on a journey of transformation, driven by love, necessity, and an unbreakable maternal spirit. Little did she know that this moment, this seemingly ordinary winter morning, would be the first step in a remarkable journey of personal reinvention and unexpected opportunity. The E&D Community Center bustled with activity on that crisp morning when Emily first stepped inside. Her hands were slightly trembling, clutching an old canvas bag containing her worn notebook and a hope that felt as fragile as glass. Michael Roberts, the workshop instructor, was a kind-faced man in his early 40s with wire-rimmed glasses and a patient smile. He noticed Emily immediately, not because she stood out, but because of the quiet determination in her eyes. The computer room was filled with various people, some younger, some older, all looking slightly nervous. Emily felt like the oldest person in the room, her factory worker hands feeling awkward near the sleek keyboards. Rachel's drawing of a stick figure family was folded carefully in her pocket, a silent reminder of why she was here. Today, we'll learn basic computer skills, Michael announced.
Don't worry if you've never touched a computer before. Everyone starts somewhere. For Emily, that somewhere felt like another planet.
The screen seemed intimidating, the keyboard complex. But when Michael approached and showed her how to turn on the computer, explaining each step slowly, something shifted inside her.
Her first task was simple: open a document and type her name.
Her fingers, used to precise factory work, slowly found their rhythm.
Each keystroke felt like a small victory. Rachel would be proud, she thought. During the break, Michael noticed Emily practicing repeatedly.
"You're doing great," he said quietly.
Many people give up before they even start.
Those words meant more than Michael could understand. Emily had never received encouragement in her previous jobs.
Factory work was about speed and silence, not personal growth. As weeks passed, Emily's confidence grew. She learned email, basic document creation, and even simple internet searching. Each skill felt like unlocking a new world. The digital landscape, once terrifying, was becoming a landscape of opportunity.
Rachel would sit nearby during workshops, coloring or reading, watching her mother transform. Sometimes, she would peek at the computer screen, asking curious questions about what Mommy was learning. "This is how people find jobs now," Emily would explain.
"The world is changing, and we need to change with it." The workshop wasn't just about computer skills.
It was about rebuilding hope, about showing Emily that she was capable of more than she had ever imagined. Michael recognized this transformation, watching her progress with quiet admiration.
Her fellow workshop participants began to see her differently too.
The woman who had seemed uncertain in the first session was now helping others, explaining concepts with growing confidence.
One afternoon, Michael pulled Emily aside. "Have you considered digital marketing?" he asked.
"Your communication skills are excellent. With some additional training, you could potentially find work in this field." The suggestion seemed impossible.
Her, a digital marketer? The woman who had worked in a textile factory her entire adult life? But something inside Emily whispered, why not?
At home, she began practicing more. Rachel would sit beside her, offering cheerful encouragement. "You're learning cool stuff, Mommy," she would say, making Emily laugh. The community center had become more than a learning space. It was a bridge between her past and potential future. Each computer session was a step away from uncertainty, a step towards a world of possibilities she had never imagined.
Emily's transformation was slow but steady.
Her hands, once rough from factory work, were becoming comfortable with keyboards. Her mind, once limited by circumstance, was expanding with each new digital skill. As winter began to fade and spring approached, Emily felt something she hadn't felt in years: genuine hope. The digital world was no longer a mysterious realm but a landscape of opportunity. Rachel watched her mother, understanding something profound was happening.
This wasn't just about learning computers. This was about rewriting their story, one keystroke at a time. The the morning of her first serious job interview arrived with a nervous energy that seemed to pulse through Emily's entire body.
She had carefully selected a second-hand blazer from a local charity shop, pressing it the night before until every crease was perfectly smooth. Her resume, printed on the last good piece of paper she owned, was tucked safely in a simple folder. Rachel helped her choose earrings that morning, carefully selecting a small pair that had been her grandmother's. "You look beautiful, Mommy," she said, giving Emily a tight hug that spoke volumes of her support. The digital marketing interview was at a small local company situated in the modern business district. Everything about the office seemed different from the factory world Emily knew: glass walls, young professionals typing rapidly on sleek computers, the smell of fresh coffee, and the distant sound of collaborative discussions.
When Emily entered, she felt like an outsider.
The receptionist was a young woman who looked barely out of university, dressed in trendy clothes that seemed worlds apart from Emily's carefully chosen outfit. Her hands trembled slightly as she gave her name. "Emily Thompson for the marketing assistant interview," she said, her voice more steady than she felt inside. The waiting area was filled with candidates who looked nothing like her. They were younger, seemed more confident, their conversations peppered with technical terms Emily was still learning.
For a moment, doubt crept in. What was she doing here? Michael's words from the workshop echoed in her mind. Your life experience is your greatest asset. Never forget that.
When her name was called, Emily took a deep breath. The interview room was bright, with large windows overlooking the town. 2 interviewers sat before her, a woman in her early 40s and a man who looked to be in his mid-30s. Tell us about yourself, they asked.
Emily didn't rehearse a perfect speech. Instead, she told her truth.
She spoke about working in the factory, about being a single mother, about her journey of learning digital skills. She explained how her life experience had taught her resilience, adaptation, and the importance of continuous learning. Her honesty was unexpected. The interviewers exchanged glances, not of judgment, but of genuine interest. Emily explained how she had gone from someone who feared computers to someone who saw them as a pathway to opportunity. I might not be the most technical candidate, she said, but I am the most determined. Something shifted in the room. Her vulnerability became her strength. She wasn't trying to be someone she wasn't. She was presenting her authentic self, a mother, a learner, a woman ready for a chance.
The technical questions came.
Emily answered some confidently, was honest about what she didn't know, and showed her willingness to learn. Her digital marketing workshop skills, combined with her life experience, created a unique profile. As the interview progressed, Emily realized this was about more than just getting a job. This was about proving to herself that she could reinvent her life.
Each question was an opportunity, each moment a testament to her journey. When the interview concluded, Emily felt different.
Regardless of the outcome, she had shown up. She had been brave. She had transformed herself from a factory worker to someone sitting in a professional interview, discussing digital marketing strategies. Outside, the city buzzed with its usual energy. People rushed, computers hummed, the world continued its constant motion. But for Emily, everything felt different. She had crossed a threshold. Rachel waited at her mother's friend's house, eager to hear about the interview. Emily knew her daughter was watching her, learning from her every move. This wasn't just about a job. This was about showing her daughter that dreams could be rebuilt, that challenges could be overcome. The interview was more than an opportunity. It was proof of her transformation, a moment where her past and potential future collided. The end 3 weeks after her interview, Emily's world changed with a single envelope. Her hands trembled as she opened the letter, Rachel watching with wide, curious eyes. The official letterhead of Thomson Digital Marketing seemed to shimmer with possibility. Congratulations, the letter read. We are pleased to offer you the position of Junior Digital Marketing Assistant. The salary was more than Emily had earned in years at the factory. It wasn't just a job, it was a lifeline, a bridge to a different future. Tears mixed with laughter as Rachel jumped around their small apartment, not fully understanding but sensing the joy. Her first day felt like entering a different world. The modern office was nothing like the noisy factory floor she had known. Computers hummed quietly, people worked in collaborative spaces, and everyone seemed connected through screens and shared goals. Michael Roberts, her workshop instructor, had been right. The skills she learned weren't just about typing or using computers. They were about communication, understanding digital landscapes, and believing in her own potential. Her colleagues were surprised by Emily. She wasn't the typical young graduate they expected. Her life experience brought a different perspective, practical, resilient, and genuine. Where younger employees saw tasks, Emily saw opportunities. The company's marketing team appreciated her unique approach. She understood real people, not just digital metrics. Her factory background had taught her about hard work, precision, and understanding human connections. During team meetings, Emily listened carefully. Technology was new to her, but learning was not. She took notes, asked questions, and showed an eagerness that impressed her managers. Her age, which she had once feared would be a disadvantage, became her strength. Rachel became her biggest supporter. Each evening, Emily would share small stories about her day.
"Mommy is learning cool computer stuff," she would tell her teddy bear, mimicking her mother's excitement. The job wasn't just about money. It was about transformation. Emily was rewriting her story, showing that career changes were possible at any age. Her journey from factory worker to digital marketing assistant became an inspiration to others in her community. Her mother, who had always believed in her, cried when Emily shared her success. "I always knew you were strong," she said during a phone call. "But now you're showing the world." Financial stability began to replace constant worry. Bills that once seemed impossible were now manageable. Emily started a small savings account for Rachel's future, something she had never imagined possible before. The digital world, once terrifying, now felt like a landscape of endless possibilities. Emily learned quickly, her practical skills blending with new digital knowledge. She wasn't just adapting, she was thriving. Her manager recognized her potential. "We see something special in you," he told her during a performance review. "Your life experience is your greatest asset." Those words meant everything. Emily had spent years believing her limitations defined her. Now, she understood that her experiences were her strength, not her weakness. Rachel watched her mother's transformation, learning a powerful lesson about resilience, learning, and believing in oneself. Every evening, as Emily worked on her computer, Rachel would sit nearby, drawing her own dreams. The small apartment that had once felt like a place of struggle now felt like a launching pad for possibilities. Emily's journey wasn't just about getting a job. It was about proving that personal reinvention was possible. Her story spread through the community. Other women, especially single mothers, began to see technology and learning as pathways to change. Emily became an unintentional role model, showing that age, background, and previous circumstances didn't determine future potential. As winter turned to spring, Emily looked different. Her eyes held confidence, her posture showed strength. The woman who had once felt invisible in a factory now understood her own power. "We did this together," she would tell Rachel, hugging her tight. And in those moments, both understood that their journey was about more than just survival. It was about hope, transformation, and the incredible power of believing in oneself. The 1 year after her first digital marketing job, Emily's life had transformed completely. Her small home office, once a corner of their cramped apartment, now represented possibility and progress. Certificates from additional online courses hung on the wall, each one a testament to her remarkable journey. Rachel, now 7, watched her mother with growing admiration. She understood that success wasn't about perfection, but about continuous learning and courage. Emily had become more than just a mother, she was a mentor, a role model of resilience. The community center where Emily's transformation began now invited her to speak. She shared her story with other struggling single mothers, showing them that career change was possible. Her workshops were always full, her message simple but powerful: your past doesn't define your future. Thomson Digital Marketing had recognized Emily's unique talents. She wasn't just a junior assistant anymore. Her practical approach and genuine understanding of people's needs had led to a promotion. Now, she managed small marketing campaigns, her life experience proving more valuable than any formal degree. Every month, Emily set aside money for Rachel's future. A college fund was growing, something she had never imagined possible during her factory days. More importantly, she was teaching Rachel about possibilities, about dreaming beyond immediate circumstances. Her relationship with Michael Roberts, her original workshop instructor, remained strong. He often referred to her as a success story, proof that learning had no age limit. "You didn't just change your job," he would tell her. "You changed your entire perspective." The digital skills Emily learned became a gateway to more than just employment. She started helping other women in her community, showing them how technology could be a tool for transformation. Free weekend workshops became her passion project. Rachel began showing interest in computers, watching her mother work. Emily made sure to explain everything, turning technology into a shared learning experience. "Knowledge is power," she would tell her daughter, echoing the lessons she had learned. Financial stability brought unexpected freedoms.
They moved to a better apartment, with a small study area for Rachel. Weekend trips, which were once unimaginable, became regular family experiences. Emily was creating memories, not just surviving. Her story spread beyond her small town. Local newspapers featured her journey, highlighting how continuous learning and determination could overcome seemingly impossible barriers. Emily became an unexpected inspiration. The factory workers she once worked with started reaching out. Many saw her journey as a beacon of hope. If Emily could transform her life, perhaps they could too. Her story challenged the notion that age or background limited potential. Rachel's school projects often centered around her mother's journey. "My mom learned computers and changed everything," she would proudly tell her classmates. Her admiration for Emily went beyond love, it was profound respect. Emily never forgot the challenges. The memories of struggling financially, of feeling invisible, remained with her. But now, those memories served as motivation, not limitations. She understood that every challenge was an opportunity in disguise. Her mother, watching her daughter's transformation, would often cry tears of joy. "You've done more than survive," she would tell Emily. "You've shown the world what's possible when you believe in yourself." Technology continued to evolve, and Emily evolved with it. Online courses, webinars, constant learning became her approach. She was no longer afraid of change but embraced it as a natural part of growth. The digital marketing world opened doors she never knew existed. Speaking engagements, consulting opportunities, and collaborative projects became part of her professional landscape. Emily was no longer just adapting, she was leading. Rachel's bedtime stories were now filled with lessons of resilience. Sometimes, Emily would say, the biggest adventures start when you decide to learn something new. Her daughter would fall asleep dreaming of her own potential. As another year passed, Emily looked back not with sadness about her past, but with excitement about her future. She had transformed from a factory worker to a digital professional, from a struggling single mother to a community mentor. "We did this together," she would tell Rachel, their bond stronger than ever. And in that simple statement lay a universe of hope, possibility, and unbreakable spirit. The end.